Welcome back, everyone. Another great opportunity and episode here. We are joined by the coach of Fordham Rams, Coach Brian Backrack. Man, thanks for being here.
Appreciate you guys having me on again.
Yeah, of course. You're always welcome here, Brian. You ever need to just talk to somebody, just come on the podcast.
Just come on and talk some
get it out.
Talk some water polo. Love it.
Talk some water polo. We could do this all day, and in fact, Clayton and I most days do when he answers my call. So we're going to break down your recruiting class. We're going to break down your recruiting class here and do a little bit of a season preview. These are new players to the U.S. collegiate scene, I should say. Obviously, you had a pretty key transfer pickup in Kyle Thomas, who's come over from Pepperdine for you. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about him? We covered him in a previous episode, but why don't we hear the coach's words before we jump into the new players that are joining the program that weren't part of college water polo prior?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about two players actually first. The Diego Pavia ruling with the NCAA. I don't know how many people are aware of it, but the Vanderbilt quarterback was a part of a court case with the NCAA that he ended up winning, which granted for one season at this time, that's what the NCAA is given, one season, anyone who played NAIA or junior college level, that they get 1 year of eligibility back, basically a fifth season, which allowed us to bring back, and he was accepted into our graduate school, and Luca Silvestri, who was one of our captains last year. He's honestly been for 3 years now. He's been an All-American. He's just been a key guy for us in so many different ways, a utility guy, just that scores from the outside, guards 2 meters. I know in a few of our spring games, a couple of the coaches did double takes. Like, wait, why is he here?
Everybody thought he was leaving.
Yeah, well, they thought he was graduating.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's considered a recruit or what, but he's coming back, and it's actually a funny story. I was on vacation with my family, and my boss, an assistant AD, calls me up. He's like, "Did you just see this ruling?" And I go, "No, I'm on the beach in Hawaii right now. I'm not looking at rulings for NCAA court cases." He goes, "Take a look at it." He goes, "I think this means Luca Silvestri can come back." Which a few weeks prior to that, right before the end of the season, he was like, "Does my NAIA year count?" And I go, "Yeah, it counts. It was college athletics." And then all of a sudden this ruling comes out, and so we lucked out in that respect, and we're very excited to have him back.
I bet.
And a key part of our team, so that's one that maybe people didn't know about, weren't talking about, but is a big win for our program for at least one more year, or for one more year. And then Kyle Thomas out of Pepperdine, big lefty. Can post up, can shoot from the outside, can pass, and has had a rough run of things. Battled injuries, played for 2 seasons there, and then was basically rehabbing and out for a couple of years. But it's funny because I when he reached out to us, I did my due diligence, as I always do, regarding recruits, and literally I've talked to like 10 different coaches, and they're like, Kyle comes in, he does a swim set with us, he'll pass shoot, like he's like all over the SoCal region, just trying to get back, wanted another chance. So I'm very excited. He's got 2 years of eligibility. He got into our master's program as well. We're gonna have 5 master's students on our roster next year, which the Gabelli School is very excited about us.
I bet. Does that before we jump into the newcomers to Fordham water polo that aren't transfers or Lucas Silvestri getting another year, does that affect practice? Does their class schedule impact their practice schedule at all? Are they able to attend everything, or how does that work?
Well,
I've heard different things.
We we run our practices in the morning, so morning and early afternoon. So uh, the grad school specifically, is geared. A lot of the classes are geared towards professionals,
Yeah.
and so guys have or not just guys, students have part-time internships in those grad programs, or sometimes full-time. So a lot of classes are offered at night, or the afternoons, um, and so we've actually never had any issues with the grad students in terms of practice schedules. So yeah, no, it's not much of an issue at all.
That's awesome. I've heard different things from different places, but that's great that there's no impact, doesn't take away from the
Yeah,
team
it's
at all
it's a
for
little
them to be
tougher at
there.
Fordham because Fordham is actually divided into two campuses. There's the Lincoln Center
Hmm.
campus, which is
Yeah,
in Manhattan,
been
and
there.
then there's the Rose Hill campus, which is in the Bronx. And the Rose Hill campus is where all the undergrads are. It's where all the athletic facilities are. It's where our pool is.
Hmm.
And so it's a beautiful place if you've never been, but it's um, so they have to travel back and forth, which is an added element. But they'll all be doing it together this year. So they're
Yeah,
actually
those
four
aren't
of the
next
five guys
door.
there.
What's the travel time for that typically?
It depends on traffic, time of day.
Sure.
You can get there in half an hour, and I think it could take up to an hour if there's traffic. It's not that far in terms of distance. It's just New York traffic, just like LA traffic. It can be unpredictable at best.
Yeah. Well, let's get into this recruiting class. It's an exciting year for you guys, coming off an amazingly successful year for Fordham Water Polo, reaching the NC2A semifinals. You're looking to get back there in a big way. And based on this recruiting class, I got to tell you, I'm excited for you guys. Let's go into it. And give me a second here, and
Well,
boom,
I
here
I
we
can
go.
say that we're excited about the group that's coming back before we get into the guys who are coming in. We've had I just am really excited about the work that those guys have been doing. Clay, I know you were, or not Clay, sorry, Wes, I know you were over in Europe. A few of our guys uh, have been over there playing in some big time tournaments. It's exciting, but
Yeah,
with that group, leading into what you were just alluding to, that that core group that's coming back, we needed to replace a lot of the depth that we
yeah,
had graduated,
yeah.
and so I think I'm hopeful that, and I'm confident that we've replaced a lot of that depth. And
Hmm.
the difference between this year and last year, yes, last year was extremely successful and a game-changing year for our program. Um, but we had, 8 really experienced seniors in that group,
Yeah.
and so, we replaced that with, some very talented guys, and we'll go through it. But uh, they're less experienced. They aren't as experienced in college water polo, and so it'll be interesting to see how they make that jump and that adjustment.
Yeah, for sure. It's always a challenge when you have foreigners coming in because the style of play is a little bit different. I will say, though, now being at 25 meters kind of globally should help with the pace. The pace is very different at 25 meters than it is at
It is.
30. And the style is quite a bit different because, simply put, you got a little more energy when you get to play offense and defense. So things are
Yeah.
a little bit different. But here we go. Your incoming recruits. These are players, not transfers necessarily from transfer portal, players coming from other programs or returning for that grad year. You do have a couple of graduate students here. We'll start with one of them. You got Matt Dupuy, a goalie, a graduate student, 2 years of eligibility out of Malta.
hmm Yeah, Matt. So I don't know if you guys remember, but we had a senior on our team last year, Gabriel Melillo,
Yep.
who was a center defender for our squad, and a huge part of that core group of seniors that graduated, and uh, he did his part in leaving his legacy in the pool, but also helping us. bring a few of his longtime friends and former teammates over to the United States. He graduated. Uh, Actually, I don't know if he graduated, but he was teammates with Matt and Gianni on the Malta junior national team.
Yeah.
Gianni and Matt both, graduated up over their last few years to the senior national team, and have been competing with Malta, some big time tournaments. And So yeah, I'm talking about Matt specifically. He's got a lot of international experience. His got good size, good length, great reactions in the cage. I watched his film and immediately was like, "Yep, we got to try to get this guy." So it wasn't a tough decision, and as I've gotten to know him, couldn't be more excited about him as a person in our program as well.
Yeah, you seem to find players in places other people maybe aren't looking, Malta being one of them. I'm going to jump across to another place. Mark Deek, a 2-meter defender from Germany. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he played in World University Games, which was held in the Rhineland in Germany. He's been part of the senior team of Germany for some time now.
Yeah, so Mark's an interesting one. I I liked Mark from the second I saw his resume and film, and the guy's got size, he's got shooting ability, and he's a strong 2-meter defender. And then he sends me film, and the first like highlight clips are him going up against Mondic at the World Cup, Dusan Mondic, and then him playing against, I believe it was the U.S., but maybe I'm mistaken, but scored 2 outside goals. And I was like, yeah, I think we could, this guy could help us.
Well, he's huge, right? How big is he? You have a lot of size here.
He's a strong guy, but he's probably 6'2", 6'3".
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's thick. Like he's
Yeah.
not walking around
You're guarding 2 meters at the
at the
World
international
Cup
level.
the senior national
you're pretty
team
strong
level.
here.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump back to Gianni.
Club for Spandau as well.
Okay.
So has played Euro Cup and Champions League and all that kind of stuff. So
yes, a lot of high level experience. And Clay and I talk about this quite a bit, that the high level experience is a lot of the time what separates some of these internationals from our domestic players, and that they're playing against 30-year-old men, 28-year-old pros a lot of the time, and they're only 16, 18 years old, and that helps their development accelerate. Now back to Malta, 100%. Or the other Maltese guy, Gianni Ferrugia, right-handed attacker, graduate student. He'll have 2 years as well, if memory serves. Talk to us a little bit about him.
Yeah, so Matt and Gianni both graduated from the University of Malta like 3 weeks ago, and so the nice thing about Fordham's master's programs, outside of their MBA, they have they're 18-month programs. So you have the fall, spring, and you can do summer or fall. And a lot of people in those programs do the summer, spring, fall. So both these guys are signed up for that in the Masters in Finance program at Fordham, which is a great program. So
that's amazing. And, do they stay for that spring? What do they do after that? Are they shipped home? Where do they go?
that depends on what they want to do next.
Sure.
We have guys who graduated from that program who are working at Goldman Sachs, and we have guys who have gone on to, are playing over in Europe. So it just depends on what they decide to do after they're done, and what the opportunities look like. But for Gianni, he's a utility player. I would describe him more as a utility. He guards 2 meters. He's got very long arms. Not super tall, but he's got long arms, and he's got a very nice shot from the outside as well. So can play 4 or 5 side, can play 1-2 side, can guard 2 meters. So we plan to use him in a lot of different spots.
Awesome. We'll keep this rolling. Um, I'm going to jump now to Soren Jessen. We know Soren quite well. Obviously, he's from the U.S., played with LA Athletic Club in National League this past spring. Talk to us about he coming over, another right-handed attacker. You seem to have quite a few right-handed attackers here, but Soren can really play everywhere.
Yeah, I would. I mean, between Diego, Mark, Gianni, and Soren, they're all I would describe as utility players.
Mm-hmm.
They can play both sides of the pool, and they can guard 2 meters. Soren is also a post up guy. I wouldn't call him a center, but he can go into and do some damage, on a post up. So. Um, we plan to use them in all those facets. I think that's a unique part of what's happening, not just at the college game, but also internationally and domestically. Is that with the way that the game's called, kickouts are prevalent and called. They call it a lot softer here in the United States, and so you kind of have to adjust to that as a coach, and have guys who can play multiple positions and be able to seamlessly do that. Look at our NCAA game, our against USC. After the first half, we have 3 guys out. We had to have multiple guys step in, and if we learned anything from that loss, it was that we need guys who can play multiple positions, who can do that seamlessly. So that was definitely an emphasis of our recruiting strategy for this year, is to add some depth back in terms of the utility type player.
Yeah,
and Soren
certainly
fits that perfectly.
He does. He's a very utility type guy, can post up, plays good defense, can shoot, can score, can pass. And we're seeing a lot more of that these days, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot more of this type of player than somebody who's 6'9", 6'7", that is just throws a howitzer for an arm, right? But gets post up and gets kicked out immediately. Got to be able to play defense. It's become really a premium here.
I agree.
So, okay, very cool. I'm going to keep going with the Americans. Charlie Martin, right-handed attacker, the younger brother of Jack Martin at USC out of San Diego Shores.
Yeah, so Charlie obviously comes from a family of water polo players. His brother at USC, his sister played at Brown, and so Charlie's continuing the East Coast trend of the younger siblings, or I guess she's older, but in any case, but yeah, we're excited about Charlie. I watched him play this weekend with San Diego Shores. Made some beautiful shots. Strong attacker, quick, and has got a really good outside shot. Very different than his brother, but that's okay. We are excited about him nonetheless.
Yeah, a good pickup for you there. Never a bad thing to start collecting some of these San Diego kids that seem to have quite a bit of talent. Now
they do.
Go ahead. We're gonna talk about some Italian guys. Alessandro Salaponte, adding to Luca Silvestre and Luca Provenziani, and I mean you got a ton of Italian guys. This seems to be a hotbed of talent for you. Salaponte, a 6'3" left-hander, played in the Serie A this last year. Big part of that Italian national team squad, has been part of the senior team training for a while now. This is a big pickup for you guys. I mean, people talked about losing Napolitano and Papanikolaou on that 4-5 for you. This is huge.
No, Napolitano has one more year.
Oh, he's got one more year, so maybe not as bad. But this is still huge, right? Like, I mean, it's a big pickup for you guys. Talk to us about this.
Yeah, so we needed we wanted a lefty. My recruiting philosophy has always been that I'm going to recruit talent before position, and so I'm never gonna shy away from a super talented right-handed attacker that can play on the 4-5 side over a left-hander that
he's just left-handed.
Is left-handed. Yeah, it's just left-handed. Exactly. I wouldn't call Alessandro either of those because the nice thing is when you do have a talent and size and he's got all the gifts, everything that you'd want in a lefty, and we couldn't be more excited that he chose us. He had options, and he decided that we were the right place for him, and so it's going to be exciting to get him here. Yeah, he's been training with. He's done he's done everything you would want to see out of a young, talented athlete coming up through the system in Italy, and unfortunately, I think he would have been a part of that Junior Worlds team if he wasn't taking his final exams during that tournament. So it would have been fun to see him over there. But at the same time, he's excited about joining us.
Well, they had 4 lefties on that Junior Worlds team, so what's one more?
Yeah, exactly.
That Italian team, they were loaded on the lefty side. Everything else, they were smaller in the middle and whatever else. They're missing a lot of guys, but 4 lefties.
Yeah, they probably could have used Diego, who was also taking his final exams.
Well, that's who we're going to jump to now, and for me, this personally, I'm excited about this class. You lost your second center to graduation, James Orskovich,
Yep.
and he was a one and done after he transferred, a grad transfer from Santa Barbara.
Yep. Yeah.
Diego Tressa, 6'7" center, playing Division I Serie A in Italy, and with the senior national team training. Brian, I dare say you might have just gotten better at the center position, not worse, after losing a great graduate transfer in James Oriskovich.
Yeah, James was a huge pickup for us.
Special, very special
last year. Yeah. It just a great personality and perfect fit coming in as a grad transfer. So yeah, we're gonna miss him a lot, and it's hard to replace 6'9" in the middle, but we got close. Diego's an interesting story because if you there wasn't I don't think he played in Division 2 or A2 in Italy last year. He's a big kid and he's still developing, and those long, lanky 6'6" and bigger kids, sometimes it takes a while to develop the muscles to be able to compete with those top playing at that top professional against professional level, but I think in the last year he's really sized up and gotten stronger and all that kind of stuff. And I saw that from the beginning, that there was, I could already see it in just the few months that we started in the recruiting process. He was getting stronger. He was growing up. He was maturing. I love this picture of him. There's like a hand on his shoulder. That's just a great picture. So yeah, we think he's going to be a special talent for us, and we're excited to get him here. And see what he can do. He plays everywhere. We think he could be a really special center. But for the youth national team, he played center defender. For his club team, he played on the 1-2 side and the 4-5 side. And at the senior team level and at the 18 and under level, he's been playing center. So go figure. We'll see where he fits best for us.
Kind of what you see in today's game, guys who can just kind of do it all, kind of jack
Another
of all
utility.
trades. Yeah, jack of all trades, master of none. Feel like at 6'7", if he can move down up and down the pool, get through water, that's going to be a problem. So exciting class, man. Look, you're filling holes that everybody thought you're going to have. You got a very good experienced center defender in Mark Dick, and he plays for Spandau. You've got Diego Tresley, 6'7" center, backing up Barnabas Epa, who was outstanding for you last year. Salaponte, a really good lefty, something you didn't really have last year, was a dynamic lefty. So you'll add that with Kyle Thomas, another lefty who's got experience playing National League and at Pepperdine. You've got Ferrugia, who's very talented, can post up, can also defend. And Dupuis, to call out your internationals here, Dupuis, a good goalie, after you lost your starting goalie this last year. Then you got Soren Jessen, who we're very high on, very complete player, and Charlie Martin. Good stock, comes from a good program, and obviously his older brother's a pretty good, talented athlete at USC. Man alive, you've been busy.
I have been busy.
I love it. Well, look, we're so excited for you. Obviously, you made a great run last year. We're expecting that to continue. By the way, the bar has been raised and the goalposts have been moved way back. Okay, so we expect a lot out of this Fordham group. You've got a tough schedule coming up. Clayton's going to help you break that down right now. Go for it, Clay.
Yeah, like you need the help, Brian.
Yeah.
Thank you for running us through that. Really exceptional. Again, just commend you on your head coach is so much more than just someone who knows tactics, right? Or subbing rotations. Like, you guys are GMs, and the amount of effort that you have to put into recruiting, not just for this year, but for years to come, and where your gap's going to be in the future. And I love the strategy of, going for talent as opposed to position. And boy, does it work out when you go for both, when you get both. It was a very high bar that you guys set for yourselves. And I think we're really excited to see how that pans out this season. Looking at key games for this upcoming season, starting off late August 31st, at Harvard against Pacific.
I think it's actually
I'm like,
that
I'm
was
reading
our
this,
that was
I'm like,
our
I don't
that was our fault, but it's actually at Brown against
At Brown.
Pacific.
Well, you're feeding me bad information already. Season
That
hasn't
was
started.
that was my fault. My SID already slapping me on the wrist for that one.
part
I
of
sent
being
it
a
to
great
him
coach
incorrectly.
is just personal accountability. So that's great.
Exactly.
You can own that. It's big. We were ready to eat that for you, but wonderful.
Yeah.
It's
There you
at
go. Look,
Brown, August
he's
31st
playing
at Brown.
Pacific at Brown. It's already been corrected. Yeah.
Yeah. So
There you go.
Pacific and Fordham last year had this like dark horse energy throughout the season. These mysterious forces that were missing, ships passing in the night against the other big MPSF teams until they finally got their berth. So now you get to face UOP kind of early on in the season that kind of decides like, okay, who's going to be that standout team that's going to break into the top echelon of the season? What are you thinking about going in against Pacific?
Yeah, well, as of this date when we taped this, I know nothing about UOP's team next year because
we do.
they have not. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
guys
do.
might. I have little information on their recruiting class, and since they graduated, I don't know, 17 guys or something. I'm joking, but it's a lot.
They graduated a lot. They did. They graduated quite a bit.
Different team for sure.
It's going to be a completely new squad. So, what am I thinking about that game? I'll let you know after I see their recruitment announcement.
Fair.
Well, their recruitment announcement will be on here, and so be sure to pay attention because we are actually breaking their recruitment.
I will. I will make sure to watch that episode, as I do watch many of your
We'll send you a link. We'll send you a link. After
no,
that,
in fairness, though, James runs a great program. I mean, year in, year out,
very fair.
he does a great job. So I always like to have these guys on our schedule because I know that we're going to get a tough game. I know that they're going to be prepared, and that brings out the best in us as well in terms of how we have to prepare. So we will be as best we can for a team that we won't have much film on, but it'll be a fun early season matchup.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's going to be so interesting to me, Clay, because every year these teams are different. We talk about the graduations and the incoming transfers and the freshmen and whatever else. And as Brian astutely called out, Coach Graham and Pacific graduated quite a bit. And so you just don't know what you're going to get. And early on, your teams are different August 31st than they are November 30th, right? They're very 100%. Different. And so it'll be interesting
if you're
to
doing
see.
your job correctly.
Yeah, you should be better. You theoretically should be better.
Hopefully it's
but
better, yes. Not just different, improved.
And so it'll be interesting that it's really the first weekend of games. And I mean, look, man, I'm going to call out the obvious. Pacific lost 2 games last year. One of them was to you. If you think they haven't thought about that for the last whatever it is, 270 days,
Yeah,
you're probably wrong. So that's a great matchup. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. When I heard that James was taking his team to the East Coast that first weekend, I immediately texted him and said, "Let's do this again."
I love it.
So it'll be a good one.
Excellent. Heading into September, about a month later, September 27th, home game at Fordham against Princeton. Now, I know everyone's thinking about how is Fordham going to match up against UCLA, against USC, against UOP, but let's not forget about this classic rivalry with Princeton. Like, these have been very close games over the years. Last year, you did beat Princeton, but that wasn't always the case. Talk to us a bit about that.
And no, I have been a part of this Fordham Princeton game, rivalry, whatever you want to call it, going back to a long time. and yeah, they've just always had our number. And even as we've moved up in the rankings and in terms of skill level and all that kind of stuff, we just never seem to be able to get past them. That 2022 NCAA playing game was, that we lost in the last second on a shot from Rocco. Still sticks in my craw. So
2022, clearly that made an impression.
That one hurt, and wasn't sad to see him graduate, but he had an excellent career. We've had a back and forth battle with these guys for so long, and lost by 1, lost by 2. And finally got one over them in 2024 this past season at our place. We're actually playing them both at our place and at their place this year, so we're going to do home and home, which will be first time we've ever done that, and it'll be fun.
Very cool.
Be able to make adjustments and the second time through and see how that one goes. So, but last year this was a special game for us last year. I think that it was the first win where people really started to take notice of what was going on with us in 2024. It was our pool was packed. We had band. We had it was insane environment. We had to actually. We have for people who haven't been to our pool, we have stands that kind of are like set up above the pool. We had to bring in bleachers and seating down on the pool deck because it was full up above. And it was just incredible water polo and college sports environment. So I look forward to another special game with those guys because it always is always a tough one. Dusty does also a great job with his program.
Litvak, one of the best coaches in the country, I think. The Fordham, you call it a rivalry, but Brian, with all due respect, you got to win games to be a rivalry. I agree. Think in the history,
that's why I didn't call it a rivalry. I think you guys called it a rivalry.
Well, maybe I called it a rivalry, but it's what I think. I don't know. I'm gonna go back and check the tape. I think you called it a rivalry, but I mean they've won every single time. You won in 2019 and you won twice in 2024. Only 3 wins. Those are the only 3 wins since 2004.
2 wins. I think 2 wins. Yeah. We had 2019. Did we have any other?
Didn't you beat them twice last year or just once? Sorry.
Just once last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. So 2 wins. I thought for some reason you beat them twice. Okay.
Yeah. You're right. It's a very one-sided rivalry. I wouldn't call it a rivalry. I'd call it domination. So maybe we'll try to turn it into a rivalry. We got to win a few. So
yeah, love it.
I would agree. Heading into the next month, October 21st at Long Beach State University against Long Beach State. There's been a lot of rumblings about what this Long Beach State team and Gavin Arroyo are bringing to the table, with some talent coming back and some new talent coming in. Don't know if you've heard more about that, team
That
of
I
their
did
former
hear
team.
about. We were, uh, yeah, I mean, obviously, I think many coaches are active in the transfer portal these days, and we were no different. Talking to a lot of the guys that were in that transfer portal this year, but Gavin did a great job of getting some great talent coming his way, and then what he's bringing back, he's got two super talented centers, and some a young lefty who's good, and yeah, we know them well because we we prepared extensively for our NCAA game with them. They do graduate some talent as well, but yeah, we all did. So it'll be another fun one. Going to Long Beach, which we've never done before. We went to Santa Barbara last year. It's kind of becoming a thing for us to fly out and play one of these, Big West opponents, who we don't really see very often on the East Coast. So it should be a lot of fun going into Long Beach and seeing how we do.
Yeah, it's the start of your West Coast road trip,
Yeah.
and you haven't exactly lined up the easiest of games
I might have
because
done outdone myself there.
you might have outdone yourself. So 2 days later, after taking on Long Beach, you take on Cal at Cal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be another great matchup. And then 2 days after that, we play Stanford, and
And the
and
day
then we
after that, you
play
play San Jose State.
San Jose State. So it's a tough run in California. You know, we if we want to accomplish our goals, we need to play the best, and we need to take advantage of our time in California. And we're going to have as we just talked about, a much less experienced group this year. So we need to test those guys, and we need to push them and put them in situations um, that they could possibly fail and grow from, and all that kind of stuff. So
Mm.
we if you want to win a national championship, you have to win three tough games 3 days in a row, and so that's it's not exactly how we've set it up our California trip, but it's somewhat reflective of how you would go about an NCAA tournament. So that's what we've done. We've challenged ourselves, and I appreciate the some of these coaches taking our call and being willing to play us, and we'll see how we do.
Well, you've made it easier for yourself, certainly, by last year for people to answer your phone calls, Brian.
Yeah.
So congrats on that.
Or maybe
Absolutely.
not.
And
Or
good
maybe
on
they
you.
don't want to play
Or
him.
maybe not.
Maybe they start avoiding
I
Fordham.
am not going to take this. It's Brian. Uh,
I love it. Well, that's amazing. Look, you guys, it was an incredible season last year, but now it's 2025, and so that's behind us, and we focus on what's in front of us and be where our feet are, as we like to say. It's an incredible lineup of games you guys have. I know you're playing Ferencváros as a exhibition game, and you'll also get
that'll be a lot of fun
UCLA
too.
this year. So you do
Yeah.
get UCLA, Cal, and Stanford. So for anybody who thinks Fordham is dodging the MPSF, that
It's not the
that ought to
narrative
quiet
anymore.
those narratives, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And you get Pacific, and you get San Jose State, which, I mean, I got to tell you,
Yeah.
San Jose State's going to be very good this year, and Long
They
Beach
are.
is probably the favorite to win the Big West. So, you've got a very hard schedule. We'd love to see the hard schedule. I think you've got a grip on this schedule now, and we're really looking forward to the season, Brian. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been, as always, a pleasure and an honor to have you on this show. Hopefully we'll get you out here again at some point as you guys start to make another run here, but good luck, man. Anything else you'd like to share as we kind of close this out?
No, I said this to you guys last time. Keep doing what you're doing. I love that people are talking, about water polo, and you guys are leading the charge, and it's great. I'm happy to come on and talk about what we're doing. We can do this again if you guys like, middle of the season, see how some of those early games go,
Yeah.
and hopefully we get a couple wins along the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time, man. It's great to see you, and give Ilya our best. Had a chance to hang with him a bit in Croatia. One of the nicest guys. My goodness.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Love to see the effort. I know how busy you've been this off season. It certainly shows with the talent and depth of this recruiting class, both transfer portal, grad transfers, and kind of new recruits, these foreign guys. I know Ilya was there every single day, watching every single game. The dedication, the effort is noticed. So we appreciate what you guys have done for the sport and how you've risen the level of Fordham water polo, man. Thank you so much. Good luck this season. I'm sure we'll see you on the road. I'm sure we'll see you once you get out here.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Take care.